Chapter 1 is really an introduction to this course, to PER 201. The objective of this lesson is to cover a couple of different ideas that are really central to the development of this course and to what we hope to instill in students and the skills we hope students will develop over the course of completing PER 201. Those are GMC's Character Education Program, our Quality Enhancement Plan, the importance of critical thinking, and understanding the overall disposition of a critical thinker. So to begin, let's talk about GMC's mission. The mission of Georgia Military College is to produce educated citizens and contributing members of society in an environment conducive to the development of the intellect and character of its students. So the first thing we're going to talk about there is the development of the intellect, which makes sense. That's kind of what you think of when you think of enrolling in a college degree program. These are covered in many different academic areas across our core curriculum and then in specific concentrations for specific majors. So humanities, business, computer science, mathematics, natural sciences, social and behavioral science. You're going to see these same kind of skills and features across all of these different areas, focusing on the development of your intellect and your knowledge. And there are 5 core competencies that are taught across our core classes here at GMC to help improve written communication, quantitative literacy, global literacy, problem solving, and critical thinking. So, one of our main initiatives, of course, as a college, one of the things that we strive for to consider ourselves successful as an institution is that we offer engaging, relevant degrees for our students, and that our students graduate with us before transferring to their next institution. At the moment, we have several degree choices available, such as the Bachelor of Applied Science, Associate of Science, Associate of Arts, and Associate of Applied Science. And then there's also an option called reverse transfer that you may want to look into depending on what your specific needs are. So always feel free to reach out to someone in advising to find out what your path is going to be towards graduation. And then the other half of that mission statement is character. The development of the consistent intention to apply critical thinking skills to learning, problem solving, and decision making requires the cultivation of enduringly strong positive critical thinking habits of mind. These habits of mind that collectively can be called the disposition toward critical thinking must become a central part of one's character. In other words, we're going beyond just teaching facts and ideas and specific applications for them to really honing your own skills on how to know when to apply something to a situation, to understand how to think critically, how to reflect on your own thinking so that it doesn't become just a tool in your toolbox sitting in the garage gathering dust, but it becomes something that is a central part of your character, part of your disposition, part of your personality, kind of. And so it's something that benefits you in your daily life, not just in your pursuit of that intellect that we talked about in the previous slides. So at this point, let's look at the GMC core value video. This video is available in Moodle, so your substitute teacher today will play this core value video at the end of this lecture because it doesn't quite want to work right when I pull up an external link to record these lessons. Alright, so next up, continuing on with this theme, this idea of character, we have the Distinguished Order of the Servant Leader Award. This is an important award at Georgia Military College, which consists of a certificate signed by the President, as well as a medal. The award recognizes any student, faculty, or staff member who donates at least 100 hours of community services in 1 year. To achieve this award, document your community service hours with your campus dean of students and apply. Furthermore, talking about developing good character, we're looking at 3 basic components. Different people may define a good character in different ways, but really they tend to boil down to these 3 ideas in particular. That someone is honest, in other words, fair with others, that someone shows integrity, following their moral and ethical convictions even under trying or difficult circumstances, and that someone displays moral courage. That is going beyond having morals to being committed to those moral principles, being aware of the danger involved in supporting those principles, but being willing to endure that danger in order to uphold your principles. So when we think of someone with good character, we tend to think of someone who has these 3 traits: honesty, integrity, and moral courage, kind of like the person viewed on this slide. Okay, so the next topic that we want to cover here in Chapter 1 at the beginning of this course is the Quality Enhancement Plan, or QEP, of the college. The Quality Enhancement Plan is really about creating an environment for students to learn critical thinking skills. And the title of the plan is kind of catchy. It's Bright Idea, where IDEA actually stands for some of those big critical thinking skills that we want you to focus on: induction, deduction, evaluation, analysis. And our QEP mascot you see here is Albert Einstein. Isn't he adorable? So we're going to talk about critical thinking and the QEP and these 5 ideas as we go through the course. But first, we're going to learn about metacognition, because it's important to be able to be aware of and reflect on your own thinking processes and skills in order to really develop them further. So, what does it mean to have a strong critical thinking disposition? There's that kind of unfamiliar term again. Well, Fazione, Gittins, and Fazione define this as a person with a strong disposition toward critical thinking has the consistent internal motivation to engage problems and to make decisions by using critical thinking. In other words, a strong critical thinking disposition means we have a person who also exhibits strong internal locus of control. So if you've taken some online personality surveys, for example, you may have seen this difference between internal locus of control and external locus of control before, but we're going to learn more about that here in the class. So here are some examples of things that a strong critical thinker might say, do, or think. I try to see the merit in someone's opinion, even if I reject it later. Figuring out what people really mean by what they say is important to me. I do better in jobs when I'm expected to think things out for myself. I hold off making decisions until I've thought through all the viable options. Even if a problem is tougher than I expected, I'll keep working on it until I get it. Making intelligent decisions is more important than winning arguments. Hopefully, those sound familiar to us and sound like they might describe our own behavior and ideas. Now, we've looked at what makes a strong critical thinker. Now let's talk about a weak critical thinking disposition. And the authors again here have some insight for us. When it comes to approaching specific questions, issues, decisions, or problems, people with a weak or negative critical thinking disposition are apt to be impulsive, reactive, muddle-headed, disorganized, overly simplistic, spotty about getting relevant information, likely to apply unreasonable criteria, easily distracted, ready to give up at the least hint of difficulty, intent on a solution that is more detailed than is possible, or too readily satisfied with some uselessly vague response. I think we probably can all think of one person who sounds at least a little bit like this description. Hopefully it's not us. So here are some examples of things that a weak critical thinker might say. I don't waste time looking things up. I prefer a job where the supervisor says exactly what to do and how to do it. If my belief is really sincere, then evidence to the contrary is irrelevant. Selling an idea is like selling cars. You say whatever works. I take a lot on faith because questioning the fundamentals frightens me. There's no point in trying to understand what terrorists are thinking, or fill in the blank with some scary group. All right. So, hopefully, most of these don't sound too much like ourselves, even though we all have a few ideas that we're probably dug in pretty hard on and don't want to look at other evidence. But overall, we can recognize that these are symptoms of a weak critical thinker. So, one of the things you're going to do this week in PER 201 is you're going to take a critical thinking mindset self-rating survey. This is basically a chance for you to get some insight into how much you are already showing that critical thinking disposition and where your weaknesses are, so that over the course of this 8-week critical thinking class, you can really work on improving your everyday critical thinking and reasoning skills. That link is available in this presentation here in blue and also in Moodle. All right, so the last thing I really want to do is introduce the essay assignment for this course. We've got one research paper essay in this class, and for that paper, we're going to be using primarily the Opposing Viewpoints database through the GMC library. And your first step is you're going to choose a real-world issue that's interesting and meaningful to you. And then you're going to select an article from the Opposing Viewpoints database that has resources and points of view on both sides of the issue. And then we're going to work through several different assignments over the next few weeks that are going to build you up towards your essay. So we're not just starting the day one with writing an essay. Don't worry. We're going to build ourselves up to it as a class. Okay? Here are the sources for this presentations. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thanks so much.